What's going on? Alex here, and in this video I'm going to show you the 10 ways to boost testosterone levels. If you don't know who I am, I help men master natural testosterone levels righteously, and in this video I'm going to show you the exact steps to do it naturally. So I've personally been doing this for nearly, it's going to be 8 years, and I've worked with a lot of clients. I've done a lot of research, I've done a lot of mistakes, and in this video I'm going to show you what you need to do to have higher testosterone levels naturally. I've helped many guys accomplish over 1,000 nanograms per deciliter. For example, if you go to my website, there's some testimonials here. The reason why I'm showing you this is not to impress you, but impress upon the fact that what I'm saying is valid. And I recommend that you sit down, you take the notes, and you take action upon the things that I'm going to present to you, because it's going to save you a lot of time. So let's get into it. So number one, we have track what you eat. And I'll explain to you why this is so important. So a lot of guys, when they get into hormonal optimization, they want to improve their testosterone levels, they want to build muscle, drop fat, they get into this system of thinking that if they just eat healthier, if they just eat less food, they're gonna see results. To an extent, yes, if you're very specific with what you're eating every day and you're 100% sure you're eating this thing every day, and this is a specific method which is called the portion size method. If you eat everything the same every day like a dog, and you track everything you do in the sense of, okay, if I'm eating this every day for 2 weeks and my weight stayed the same, you know you're eating in a caloric maintenance. If you're losing weight based on how much you're losing, if you're losing, I don't know, 1 pound of fat per week, you know you're in a 3,500 caloric deficit, so per week, which is a 500 caloric deficit per day, because there's 3,500 calories in 1 pound of fat, right? But no one's going to do that. You're going to go out of routine. I don't even recommend eating the same thing every day, and I'm going to get into why in the later steps. But basically, different foods have different minerals and vitamins, and your body will tell you what it needs. There's always a pendulum swing. You swing to one side, you're going to swing to the other. There's a reason why pregnant women crave very specific things, because they might be having very specific micronutrient deficiencies, and their body is telling them to eat those things because they have the things that they need. But you need to be cautious. You need to know what you're doing. For instance, if you're craving chocolate, you may be deficient in things like magnesium or copper and things like that. But first you need to introduce that food into your diet so your body basically remembers that food, and then you can have it in your routine. But anyway, track what you eat, because what gets measured gets managed and then accomplished. When you're tracking everything, you know exactly what your inputs are, and if you know what your inputs are, and you know what outputs you're getting from those inputs, you know if you're trying to accomplish a different goal, you either eat more, eat less, change the variables, whatever it is. But if you're doing random things on a daily basis, you're going to get random results. At the start, you can get away with it, because I see a lot of guys, I just eat more and I gain weight, or whatever it is. That works. But maybe you're okay. But some guys who are in more of a sympathetic nervous system, which is basically running on adrenaline and stress hormones, you're not going to be hungry. When you wake up in the morning, the reason why you don't feel like eating breakfast is because you're running on stress hormones. And then you're like, yeah, but I don't like eating a breakfast because I feel tired afterwards. That's another that's a different topic, because if you're eating and you feel like relaxed after, it's because the food stop the stress response. You can check that by checking your temperature and your heart rate. You check your temperature is high, you have your breakfast, it decreases. That means you had a stress response and the food decreased the stress response. Could be other variables, like you have a lot of gram-negative bacteria in your gut. You're eating things like starches. Those starches are undigested, and the gram-negative bacteria consume the starches, and you're producing more endotoxin, which leads to more serotonin. Then you have maybe anxiety, whatever it is. But this is why you track everything, right? Track everything, because what gets measured, you're doing it on a daily basis. You can fill in for the variables because you ate something different, whatever it is. You have variety within your day, and you just do it. Oh, but I don't feel like taking out my phone every time I do it. Yeah, but you want exceptional results. You need to do exceptional things. If you want your life to be easy, do what is hard. If you do the things that are hard, your life will be easy. So track. At the start, yes, it's annoying, but after a while, it becomes second nature. You don't even think about it. So the apps that I recommend that you give a shot when it comes to tracking your food is things like MyFitnessPal, or you can use Chronometer, whatever is best for you. The number 2, we have eat for a high metabolic rate. If you've watched my previous videos on things like pregnenolone and things like that, you understand there's steps to boosting your testosterone levels. One of the steps being you need pregnenolone, which is a precursor to things like testosterone. But you get pregnenolone from having vitamin A, T3, and LDL cholesterol, which produces pregnenolone. And you only get T3 from focusing on having a high metabolic rate. Because if you're not eating enough food, your liver glycogen stores are depleted, you're running on stress hormones, you're producing less T3, which is leading to less CO2 production, because when you eat food, the byproduct of a cell respiration, which is a high metabolic state, is CO2. And CO2 is very protective. And CO2, which is high within the body, it gives you that energy, drive, things like that. But if you have low CO2, you're going to produce less T3. Your body's, it's signal to your body, it's wintertime, whatever it is. Serotonin goes up, things like that. And that's how animals go into hibernation. Because when you're consuming high amount of PUFA and low amount of carbohydrate, sugar, honey, that's signaling to your body that it's wintertime, we need to lower the metabolic rate. So for you to have a higher metabolic rate, you need to eat better. You need to eat more food, more carbohydrates, specifically easily digestible. So then you're producing more T3, you're having more LDL cholesterol, you have more vitamin A in your diet, you're producing pregnenolone, which is a precursor to testosterone. So that's number 2. Number 3, I recommend that you strength train 3 times per week. You don't have to be training 6 times a week or every day, 2 hours every time you go. No, if your priority is just higher testosterone levels, feeling amazing, and you can build an amazing physique training 3 times per week. There has been studies that training full body 3 times per week boosted testosterone levels significantly. I can't remember exactly what the number one was. I'm pretty sure it was 40%. But it works very well because when you're training, you're targeting the androgen receptor, shoulders, upper chest, upper back. When you do train, you want to train in a way to activate as much muscle possible in the shortest period of time while staying under your stress threshold, focusing on androgen receptor density in a medium rep range and progressively overloading on a weekly basis, focusing on recovery. I'd rather undertrain by 10% than overtrain by 1%. So that's how I would do it with strength training. Avoid things like endurance running, cardio, because that teaches your body to have a low metabolic rate. Because when you do a lot of endurance training, your body's like, okay, we're doing this thing every day that we need to run for a prolonged period of time, and we have a limited amount of resources. I need to adapt in a way to survive that distance. So your body's going to have a lower metabolic rate. That's why marathon runners have a super low heart rate. They're very skinny because their body adapted, because your body's smart, it adapts to the stress that you give it. But you need to be careful of the things that you're adapting to. Adapting to strength training is perfectly fine. Adapting to having a wasteful metabolic rate is perfectly fine. But adapting to a stressor, which is marathon running, is not good. If you like running, do sprints or go for a walk. Just go for a nice slow walk. Then number 4, focusing on sleep. So getting 7.5 to 9 hours of uninterrupted sleep every night. The operative part is uninterrupted. If you're waking up in the middle of the night, you are breaking the REM cycles. The longer you sleep, the longer the REM cycles are. And in the REM cycles is where you're producing your testosterone, the deep sleep. So you want to prioritize the uninterrupted. If you are waking up in the middle of the night, the reason behind that is probably your body is depleted in liver glycogen. So it initiates adrenaline to squeeze the last bit out. That only lasts for a bit. And then when all glycogen is gone, then cortisol kicks in to take your muscle tissue and convert it into glucose through a process called gluconeogenesis. This is one of the reasons when people do a long-term fast, they mainly lose a lot of muscle rather than fat, because glucose is very important for your brain. So it needs to get glucose. If you're having a hard time to fall asleep, there could be some stressors. You have a low metabolic rate. A lot of people forget the fact or don't understand the fact that for you to relax, you need to be in a high metabolic state. You have to have high energy. When you look at a dead person, they're not relaxed. They're very stiff because there's a lack of energy. Energy is what makes you relax. The reason why you get cramps is because there's a lack of energy in that area. So they did an experiment of they had a dead person and they injected something that increased the amount of energy in that area and the thing relaxed. It's same with your mind. If you don't have enough energy production, your mind is going to be going, right? So that's one of the reasons. And yeah, number 5. So number 5, be chaste. So doing things like nofap, avoiding sleeping around, hooking up, because that's going to mess with your brain. You want to stay chaste until you find the one and save that for her. And you want to do nofap because it improves your testosterone levels, improves your discipline. A lot of guys get into weird stuff like super deep addictions. And there's a problem. 16-year-old kids can see more naked women than any powerful king would ever see in his lifetime. Solomon had 1,000 wives, right? And then kids, and he was a very powerful individual, was a king. And now you have kids that can see 1,000 naked chicks in a day. So it's messing with your brain sensitivity. You're more lustful when you look at people. So practice chastity. It's going to make you stronger as a man and improve your testosterone levels directly. And I'm going to go back to this. Should be in the next one. Okay, so prioritize dopamine and lower serotonin. I've done videos on why you should lower serotonin. Go on my channel and check it out. But this is going back to the first thing that I said. I do not recommend eating the same thing every day because that creates structure. Having structure is very serotonergic. Dopamine is more of a spontaneous, doing different things. You enjoy life. Structure is very like robot. You do the same thing every day, and your brain has no reason to, have higher dopamine levels, have joy and things like that. So prioritize dopamine, like more sunlight, going on walks to different places. When you're going to the shop, take a different route. Avoid structure. Don't do the same things every day. Don't eat the same foods every day. Don't listen to the same music every day and things like that. Then number 7, live righteously. So that's going to go back to number 5. Unless you've been living under a rock, there's more to life than just the physical. I've been friends with many guys who are into biohacking, testosterone optimization, and they would have issues with erections, like they can't get hard. But they would know a lot about testosterone optimization, but they were very lustful. And these things I cannot explain. That's why he talks about in Proverbs, do not lean onto your own understanding, but onto God's understanding. That could have been a way God was protecting him from being promiscuous. So it's removing his ability to sleep around because you can't get hard. This is all voodoo science, right? This is, you can believe it or not. You see a lot of guys who are lustful, they're afraid to approach a chick and ask for a number. I wonder why that is, because you have impure intentions. Why would you be afraid to ask for a woman's number if your intentions are pure? You want to build a family with her and things like that. So there's always a reason to, there's more like spiritual reasons to why you're experiencing a certain thing. So look at the 7 deadly sins. Watch my previous videos. So you want to do the opposite, live righteously. When you live righteously, you have no skeletons. You can feel calmer. You have a relationship with God. You understand who Christ is. You build a relationship with him. He's the head. So Abba Father is the head of Christ. Christ is the head of the husband. And the husband is a head of the woman. If you're not following God, why would the woman follow you? Why would she submit to you? You see a lot of guys, oh, I want this righteous woman. But you're not righteous. Why would God curse her with you? So live righteously. Change your perspective to why you're doing things. Is it doing to get other people's validations or God's validation? Because it's going to relieve a lot of anxiety. A lot of people, and when it comes to my mastermind, yeah, I have a course, whatever, but on the calls we get into deeper things. Like you see a lot of guys are being brainwashed by like red pill and, oh, you have to have a Lamborghini by the age of 22 because, and if you're not, you're a failure. And that creates a lot of toxicity in your mind, and that can be very problematic. So live righteously. Number 8, do competitive things. So as a man, you should compete, whatever it is. It gives you a reason to live, and it improves your testosterone levels. Because competition, if you've ever done competitive things, like very competitive things, like, I don't know, I like playing Call of Duty sometimes with Christian from Relearning Relationships. Playing rank play, that's very competitive. And you feel the drive because you're very competitive. I don't know, whatever it's football, whatever it's business. So doing competitive things, working on your wealth, which is a competitive thing, it's going to improve. You're going to have a why to live. You're going to have that drive. You have a reason to wake up and things like that. So I recommend having that into your routine. Number 9, fix micronutrient deficiencies. For you to have a high metabolic rate, have higher testosterone levels, there's processes within your body that need cofactors, vitamins, to make these processes work. That's why fixing those deficiencies works very beneficially. You have vitamins, you have your fat-soluble vitamins like vitamin A, D, E, and K. Vitamin D you can get from sunlight, vitamin E from a supplement preferably, and then vitamin K from dairy, and then vitamin A from liver. That's why a lot of people recommend liver, because it's high in vitamin A. Then you have the water-soluble vitamins like vitamin B, all the B vitamins, B1, B2, B3, niacinamide, thiamine, and things like that, which are very beneficial for having a high metabolic rate, for you to use glucose as an energy source. Then you have your micronutrients like minerals. So you have your micro and macro. So you have your electrolytes. So you have your calcium, magnesium, potassium, and sodium. So salt, having more salt in your diet, having a higher calcium intake versus phosphorus. And then micro, things like zinc, copper, selenium, which are needed as well. Preferably get a micronutrient deficiency test done for things like that, because it's more specific. Because if you consume too much of them, it's going to lower your testosterone, because it's going to be toxic within your body. But if you don't have enough of them, that's going to create deficiencies, so your body can't produce do the processes properly. So you need to do it properly. Then you have things like amino acids, having less things like L-tryptophan, which is high in, which is an amino acid which is high in things like chicken, egg whites, and L-tryptophan gets converted into serotonin through the tryptophan hydroxylase enzyme, which is not good. High serotonin is problematic. There has been studies shown that on tryptophan low diets, testosterone levels increased. That's why orange juice is so powerful, because orange juice has polyphenols that inhibits the tryptophan hydroxylase enzyme. So getting your micronutrient deficiencies fixed and removing all the heavy metals from your body, doing things like sauna, consuming more caffeine, coffee, because it speeds up the metabolic rate. Next. Avoid stressors like cold therapy, fasting, endocrine disruptors. I've made videos about cold therapy. It's not good for you. This is an example of a stressor, bad stressor that you want your body to adapt to. You see a lot of guys who do cold therapy, and you're training your body to adapt to a stressor, which is not good. Fasting as well, you're teaching your body how to adapt to a stressor. Removing endocrine disruptors, like the water that you drink, the chemicals that you put on your body, the things that you wash your clothes with, the toothpaste that you use, what other things, the utensils that you use, the supplements that you take, that they're good qualities, there's no contaminants within the foods that you eat, the pesticides and things like that. You want to limit those things. You want to remove all the blockers. But a priority is eating for a higher metabolic state, because when you have a higher metabolic state, your liver is working on an amazing state which detoxifies a lot of these things. But you want to work with your body, remove the blockers, improve your metabolic rate so that you're producing more T3, so you're producing more pregnenolone, you're sleeping, you have all these amazing things, you're getting sunlight. This is the formula to have higher testosterone levels. Does it get deeper than this? Yes. But following this, you will get a lot of results. If you're procrastinating on boosting your testosterone levels naturally, take action upon the things that I told you, and you will be happy within the next 30, 60, 90 days. That being said, if you want more help with testosterone optimization, I'm going to leave it down below a link to a school community completely free to join. You see, people are trying to get in. There's already 360 members. You can ask questions, get in touch with me, send me DMs. There's a classroom, there's programs here for free. This one's for free. You have access to a calendar. This Friday, I'm doing a free collaboration sessions. We get on, we talk. For example, we done one, where was it? I do one every month. We just get on and we just talk about masculinity, brotherhood, righteousness. We talk about God, relationships, and things like that. But if you're someone that wants to skip the line and work with me personally, so I take you from your current state, which is a low testosterone state, God is not happy with you, and you want to get to higher testosterone levels so you can be a righteous man, you can have a family, you can lead a family, be strong, and join the Reclaim Mastermind, which is here. It's a small circle. I'm going to leave a link down below to book a call. So I need to make sure that you are a right fit. If you want to read more about it, you can go to my website, fedursky.com, learn more, and check out what's included in there. So yeah, that being said, hopefully you got value out of this video. And that being said, I'll see you next week. Peace.